Oh, look at this. We're going to jail. My life is over. So is mine.
61-year-old Linda Roberts and 63-year-old Mary Beth Tomaselli are the sisters whose secret has finally come back to haunt them after 4 long years. And more interestingly, the person who exposed it was the man both of them were dating, Anthony Marsh.
I know what your sister did.
You know what my sister did?
I know what she did, and I know what you did.
The conversation that you had with Mr. Marsh,
Yes.
we were listening to that conversation.
Person not a trustworthy person.
Linda does everything she can to hide their sinister secret, but the detective already knows it all and makes her question whether she can trust her shared lover and her very own sister, planting the seed of doubt.
And you said here that your sister was very trusting to you, right?
Yes.
I know exactly what happened that night.
In the end, the 2 sisters walked right into the trap their shared boyfriend, Anthony Marsh, had set with their horrifying truth finally exposed. These sisters weren't caught up in just any crime. They were tied to a brutal murder. But what was the twisted plan they kept buried for 4 years that finally dragged them into the interrogation room?
So you're on track. Of course you are, you stupid.
Want to talk to you. There's a couple things on top of talking to you about this incident with your husband.
Yes.
Okay. There's also a couple other things that I want to talk to you too.
Okay.
And I know that looking at, from talking to you in the car, you seem pretty, straightforward. Right?
Okay.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm the type of person that I like honesty.
Okay.
All right. And I'll be honest with you, and you be honest with me.
Okay.
Okay. And that's just the way how I work.
Okay.
All right. And my partner is the same way. Okay. Do you other than your do you know why you're here as well? Or no? Okay. Well, I want to explain that to you. Okay. But before doing that, okay, doesn't mean I'm going to have to, here in the United States we have rights, correct?
Correct.
So I just want to, I have to read you your rights. It doesn't mean you're under arrest or anything like that.
You're at a police station.
You're at a police station. We're here. I want to talk to you. Okay.
And we'll give you some information. We'll tell you what's going on.
All right. So let's just get this out of the way.
At this point, Linda has no clue that a case closed years ago is about to resurface and haunt her. She would soon understand the situation she's really in. But first, the detectives need to know everything there is to know about Linda.
So,
You want me to spell it? Tomaselli.
Good. Okay, there we go.
okay, so you guys are down here, and you said, what did you do for 30 years, you said?
Worked as a nurse practitioner.
Nurse practitioner? Are you registered as a nurse practitioner? Through the state of Florida?
Well, registered by, you mean?
The Department of Health.
I'm registered as actually a medical assistant.
A medical assistant.
Right.
Okay, what does a medical assistant do?
I assist the doctor in surgery, I assist him, anything he does, injections, suture removals, just everything that we do together hand in hand.
Okay, so do you, is that what class, where did you go for class for that?
Tampa College.
Tampa College. So you are a nurse practitioner, or you're a medical assistant?
It's actually a certified medical assistant.
Okay. And then by that, your job title is you assist the doctor.
Yes. Do assistant surgery.
Where do you guys usually do surgery at?
In the office.
In the office. What kind of doctor is it?
General practitioner. We remove sebaceous cysts in the back, moles, send them out for biopsy, drew blood every day. Just whatever needed to be done during the day.
And do you go to hospitals for those as well, or just in the office?
We do all in office.
All in office?
Yes.
Okay. And so you just, do you give injections too?
Yes. Give
what kind of
injections.
injections?
Whatever the doctor ordered.
Okay. What happened?
What happened to my father? Mm-hmm. The doctor, his companion died 3 weeks prior to him. Mm-hmm. And he had dementia.
Okay.
And he was going to go into Brookdale.
Okay.
My brothers and sisters and I all decided he was going to Brookdale.
Okay.
So he didn't want to go there, but he had to go there. It was a beautiful place.
Right.
And my sister and I moved in after Shirley died to help take care of my father because he had nobody. So I could hear my father had lung cancer 7 years ago.
Okay.
And he was with Shirley, so I wasn't involved in his medical care during that time when Shirley was alive. Well, when I was there, my father he said he felt like he had a stabbing pain in his chest. Mm-hmm. And he had this awful cough, very productive. And so I recognized that something was wrong. Mm-hmm. So my niece, who was also staying there, I said, call the doctor, make an appointment. They need to do a chest x-ray, see what's going on with my dad's lungs. So they did. So that night at 7 o'clock, the doctor called me, Dr. Zion, and he said that your father...
When did they do that?
Probably 5 to 6 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. So he called me. So I said, okay. So he said, my dad told me and my sister, he said, I don't feel good. He says, I'm going to lay down on the couch. And they had 2 rockers on either end. He said, would you mind staying up while I lay down here and sleep? Okay. I said, of course, sure we will. Mm-hmm. So he went to sleep, snoring away. And it was probably about 2, 3 in the morning. My sister said, why don't we go lay in Dad's bed and get some rest? He's sleeping, he's quiet. So we said, okay. So we get up in the morning at 6 o'clock, about 6 o'clock, and I walked right past them, went into the kitchen to make some coffee, and my sister got up and she went over and checked on him, and she yelled to me, "Something's wrong, Dad is not responding to me." So I went over there and I checked for a pulse. I felt a pulse, but wasn't thinking my father had a pacemaker in, so of course he's going to have a pulse.
That's the same story both sisters told in 2015, and back then, it was accepted as the truth. But this time, the detectives already have new evidence, and it comes from someone close to Linda. It's time to corner her, but she'll keep on sticking to her path of denial, and it's about to land her in some serious trouble.
You said you have kids, right?
One daughter.
One daughter. What do you usually, people make mistakes, and I get that, okay? And when your daughter makes a mistake, you want her to be honest with you, right?
Of course.
Of course, and that's the way you raise her, right? So if she does something or she did a mistake, you want her to, part of it, you learn from your mistakes. Isn't that how you raise it? So I don't think, you're not being very honest with me right now.
What do you mean?
Because that's not what happened with your father, okay? And you know that, okay? You know that that's not what happened with your father. So I want you to tell me again, from the beginning, what happened with your father.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
The story, I'm going to lay it out for you. The story that you just provided to him is not what happened to your dad.
What happened to my dad?
I want you to go back and walk through this one more time. You need to pay attention to what's going on here, okay? What you said happened to your dad is not what happened to your dad. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Not especially. What has changed that didn't happen to my father?
Okay.
So this is what I want you to think about it real hard right now, okay? Because your father, that's not exactly how it happened, okay? And you know that, okay? So I'm going to give you, because when I'm asking you questions, I already know the answer to it, okay? And right now, I get it. You're nervous. You're keeping this in, and you're going with the same story that you had told the other officer when they originally came. But that's not what happened.
You've been doing an investigation, and that's not what happened. And you know that's not what happened. We're paying you the compliment of being upfront with you. You need to pay us the same compliment and tell us what actually happened.
Who is giving you information, other information?
Ma'am, I want to hear from you, okay? And I want to talk to you about it, okay? So I know what happened, and I'm giving you the opportunity right now to talk to us and tell us your side of the story.
This is unbelievable.
Linda knows she's in a precarious position. One wrong move could cost her freedom. But what she doesn't realize is that, mistake or not, there's no way out. Not only for her, but also for her sister, Mary Beth.
I agree.
Does my sister know about this?
I know what your sister did.
You know what my sister did?
I know what she did, and I know what you did. So, right now, it's not to continue to tell us the story that you're telling me is not right. I get your father was sick. He was ill. People make mistakes, okay? And I know everything, okay?
From a trustworthy person, you know everything?
Who's not trustworthy?
Who's not trustworthy?
Somebody obviously told you something that could possibly not be trustworthy. The person is not a trustworthy person. And it's not Ted, for sure, I can tell you that.
Okay. I know what your sister did, and I know what you did.
I don't understand.
I don't know who this person that you're talking about, but I know everything.
Well, I don't quite understand who would say anything to you. Who is this person that is giving you this information? I don't have a right to know that. They didn't leave a name. They didn't tell you who they were.
They gave us a very detailed account of what happened, so I'm just trying to tell you there's no mystery about what happened.
They gave a detailed account.
Yes. I'm not bluffing, and you know I'm not bluffing.
And I'm not. And I'm being up front with you. Okay? And I know things, and it's time right now for you to, I know it's been weighing in on you all these years, which would be understandable. Okay? It would be understandable. That's normal to weigh in this much.
But I don't believe the person that told you is a trustworthy person, and that
Well, who is that person you're talking about? What are you talking about? You keep saying this person's not trustworthy. What person do you have in mind?
a certain person that
Well, I know, but what is that person's name?
Anthony Marsh.
Then why is he not trustworthy?
Well, you can look up his criminal background. I still continue to have seen him.
Okay, so it's an ongoing, so it's still happening, so you're not historically past that.
No.
That's an in-progress thing still happening. You see him on a relatively routine basis, right?
Well, routine, but I don't know what you call routine.
Okay, I'm not going to split hairs with you, routine, with the
Weekly.
definition of, right, you
Weekly.
see him frequently.
At least weekly.
Okay, weekly, we'll settle on that, that's fine. And you feel that this person's untrustworthy.
Very untrustworthy.
Then if he's so untrustworthy, why are you still with him?
Probably for the same reason I was with Ted.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What do you think about, as your sister, you guys get along?
Well, we have our whole life just got along. Recently had a little mishap in our life, but yes, we love
So
each other
you
very
love
much.
each other. So she,
We left the apartment loving each other.
okay. And does she tell you everything?
Oh, I don't know if she tells me everything.
No.
By everything you mean
Everything. I mean,
we talk, but
what's your relationship? Are you guys like best friends?
yes, we were very close.
So you trust her?
Yes.
Trust her with everything?
Yes, I trust her.
And she trusts you,
I think so.
right?
Yes.
That's the bond that sisters and siblings have, especially sisters, right?
Yes.
Okay? So, I mean, you got to trust her, right? So you keep, and I know what happened between you two was staying between you two, correct?
Anything in our lives that happened between us,
Anything that you guys do,
Anything.
whether it's good, bad, or the other.
having our children breeds apart, yes. Things, her husband was abusive to her, yes. They stay between us.
Okay. So let's talk about your father again. Okay. Tell me about what happened that day.
If you're trying to get me to say what Anthony told you,
I don't. Anthony didn't tell me anything. I don't know what you're talking about, this Anthony. Okay?
and Anthony's the only person that we were joking around and things were said.
Okay. You mind if I step in?
Other
Go ahead.
than your sister, correct?
Other than my sister, yes.
So your sister knows what happened, correct? The real truth of what happened, correct?
My sister and I are bonded together, yes.
Correct. And you guys share a bond that is something that no one else can ever share, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you said here that your sister is very trusting to you, right?
Yes.
The detective just
But who told you?
I'm just gonna. Okay, let me just walk you through this a little bit, just to bring you up to speed. Okay, the conversation that you had with Mr. Marsh,
Yes.
we were listening to that conversation. Okay?
Okay.
So we can cut to the chase that there was no joking about this. I have a crystal clear clarity, so you can read between the lines, okay? I actually had the same clarity with your sister
You talked to her?
about an hour ago. So I'm going to tell you one more time. You're not going to come out on the end of this in a very good fashion because you're telling the truth about what happened. We tried to give you ample opportunity to tell what happened, but now you know that I know what happened.
I wanted to know who told it.
I just told you that.
Okay.
So we're going to cut through the BS. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. Now answer his questions and let's move forward with this. Okay? Do you understand?
I understand, but you don't have to be rough with me.
Ma'am, I've given you 3 or 4 opportunities to tell the truth, and we were very upfront with you, and you're not being upfront with us. He said, I'm going to be very upfront with you about what happened, and you kind of disrespected him a little bit by not doing that. I'm just trying to put us on the right path here. Do you understand that?
Okay.
We will be fine, but I can't have you wandering off the reservation. Do you understand?
I understand.
Okay, so now let's walk through this again.
So talk to us a little bit now.
Okay.
Tell me
My
the truth.
sister and I were lying in bed, and my father had dementia. He was calling both me and my sister by my mother's name. I knew he was dying because he had this mass in his lung, cancer. And she said to me, she held my hand and she said, I can't remember the exact words, but we can't let Dad suffer like this. And we were both crying. And so she said, can we euthanize him some way to put him out of his misery?
Who said this? I didn't hear that part.
I don't know who said it.
But it was said, is what you're saying.
It was said.
This may I understand.
What kind of harsh words?
He was calling her not nice names, saying that I mean, it's hard to remember exactly, but they were yelling. They had a yelling match at each other.
Okay.
So she did have an anger at that time.
Okay. So then what happened?
So I felt very bad for my father that he was suffering so bad. He was in pain, he couldn't breathe, he was having labor breathing. And so we took him for a ride for the beach. He always wanted to go to the beach. And then we brought him home, and she took the sleeping pills.
How many?
I don't know. She probably put maybe 10, if I had to guess,
Okay.
into a big glass of, he always had a shot of vodka before he went to bed. And she made this big giant drink for him to drink with the sleeping pills in it. He drank maybe this much of it,
Okay.
and he had his little St. Joseph cards he reads at night, and he dropped them. And he lay down and went to sleep.
And then what happened?
He opened his eyes, but then he closed them immediately after he opened them. And my sister said, he's obviously not, it's not working. And
He's not dead?
Yeah, he had not died, right? And
How was he acting during this? Just everything was normal, or was he off kilter? Did it have any effect on him at all, or anything?
oh yeah, he was semi-conscious, I would
Okay,
say.
understood.
So my sister and I both said, well, we've started euthanizing him.
Understand.
We have to finish it now.
Okay, and what'd you do?
So we just got a hand washcloth.
Who got the hand washcloth?
I believe I did,
Okay.
but I'm not 100% sure. Because
Where did it come from?
the bathroom.
Okay.
The truth is
Too much because he was drugged from the sleeping
Okay.
pills.
But there was some movements there.
He did move his hands.
Okay, that's what we're asking. Okay.
All right, so,
And she was holding his nose.
okay.
And he stopped breathing, but he still had a pulse. But I didn't realize he had a pacemaker. I did realize it then, that it took me a while to realize why he still had a pulse, because he had a pacemaker in.
So then at that time when you realized once he had died, what did you do? What did you guys do at that time? Because what time did this happen at night? Was it in the middle of the night?
Probably towards the middle of the night, yeah.
Okay. Was there anyone else in the house?
Yes, my niece.
Okay.
She was in the other bedroom.
All right. What did you guys do to her?
Well, we didn't do anything to her. She asked for a sleeping pill because she was having a lot of anxiety.
And what kind of sleeping pill did you give it to her?
Yes, I gave her one of my Ambien.
You gave
But
her.
not one of his, meaning your
I
father's.
believe it was his now.
You think it was one of yours because you gave your own prescription.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So let's back up here. So the night before, or was it the night before that you and your sister were talking about wanting to do this?
Yes.
Okay.
It was the night that she had the bad argument with my father.
Okay, so you two are laying in bed, and then you guys discussed about wanting to end his life. Is that correct?
Well,
This,
I took it as euthanasia. I'm sorry, I've been in the medical field. I felt I was being
Oh, I understand that. No, I understand that's what your thought process, but there was some discussion about it the night before that this was going to happen. This wasn't like a 2-second thing.
No.
They just did it. There was some discussion because obviously you want to make sure your sister's on board with this. I mean, you could see that could be a problem. You both weren't.
Yes, we
Okay.
both felt that at the time that.
So you talked about it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, okay. I understand.
so then, whose idea was it for the pills?
Well, I don't remember exactly, but she said, Dad has sleeping pills, and I said, yes, sleeping pills would be the easiest, and he would just go to sleep.
Did you what kind of pills was it that you guys gave him?
I believe he took Restoril
Restoril?
at the time. Yes.
Did you give him any of your pills?
I honestly don't remember, because I had them for me. They were mine.
So you don't know if you gave him your pills?
Exactly, to be honest with you, I don't remember. I remember giving it, she got I don't know who even got the pills, the Restoril.
I know you tried when he woke up and opened his eyes, and you guys went ahead and did the washcloth.
Right.
Prior to doing the washcloth, you used a pillow, and it didn't work.
Well, that I don't remember, honestly, using a pillow. That, honest to God, I do not remember using a pillow. I'm honest with you about that. I don't remember ever saying I used a pillow. We used a pillow.
No, not.
Not do you remember saying it. Do you remember the incident in which you used the pillow? That's different. That's a different question.
I don't remember using a pillow. I just remember getting a washcloth.
Well, because you tried the pillow first.
I don't remember, I honestly do not remember using a pillow.
Linda had already mentioned using the pillow when speaking to Marsh, and it was caught on the wired recording that he was wearing. While she denies using the pillow, the detective needs to ensure her statements align with what was recorded. Any discrepancies could become an issue in court later. But for now, the detectives also need to establish a clear motive.
Now, is it true that he did not want to go to that group home or the?
Correct.
And was it a burden watching your dad? Because
No,
you guys
he
had to spend so much time going there?
No, that was nothing to do with being a burden. He was going to be in a beautiful place. He had the insurance that covered it.
But he didn't want to go there.
They were going to have to put him eventually.
He didn't like it, is what I'm saying. Whether it was the best thing for him or not, he personally did not like it.
He was begging a lady, Shirley's niece, who was known to be on crack cocaine. He was begging her to stay with him and take care of her when we knew she was on crack cocaine.
No, I understand this. But the long and the short of it is that he was resistant to go in there. Regardless if it was the best thing for him, all these other collateral matters, he was resistant to go in there. Is that correct?
He was resistant because he did not have his mind.
I understand, but we're just walking through this. I'm just saying,
Right.
I'm not saying that it wasn't the best thing for him. We're not getting any of that. I understand what you thought it was, and maybe it was. I'm just saying he personally was resistant to it for whatever variety of reasons. So he just didn't want to do it.
No.
Okay,
No,
that's all.
there.
And so you and your sister were spending a lot of time there taking
Well,
care
my niece was.
and your
We
niece?
were working. She watched him during the day.
But then when you get home from work, that's where you were staying?
Yes.
Okay. And then what made the decision to do this? Why did it prompt that night?
When the doctor called and told me,
You have no idea.
I had no idea.
It was that more likely it was going to be fatal. Okay,
fatal.
that's what I'm trying to say. Okay.
And he was in such misery and mentally so out of it that you know the rest of the story.
My guess is, let me ask you this: you must have been torn about this. I mean,
I was terribly torn about it.
I understand you had your father that's there and he's suffering, but ultimately this was not proper or not lawful. Let's just put it that way. You're a smart person.
At the time, I felt I was euthanizing my father and helping him.
I understand that.
That is my honest answer I
Okay.
give you.
But looking back and looking at it, I mean, you're smart. You got your certification. You're with the, for an assistant, okay, medical assistant. You're a smart lady. I mean, do you think that's lawful for someone to do?
Take the morality out of it.
Anthony told me no, it was not lawful.
Let me ask you this, you don't know independently of Anthony telling you that whether that was right. Forget was it morally right or anything. I'm just saying lawfully, you had to know that was not lawful. It was legal to do that.
No, I guess it is not legal to do that.
Right. Because if it was legal to do that, you would have came out and just told us what happened, and you didn't do that.
Linda now realizes there's no way out. The detectives have laid out the facts perfectly, leaving no room for justification. This was pure murder. All that is left is for her to give in and confess.
You knew there had to be a downside to this.
Already told me that it was not legal to do what we did. I felt I euthanized him and put him on the sick leave.
I understand.
I have nothing else to say.
No, I understand. But that's because you saw your dad was suffering. I totally understand that. But if you take that part of it out, the act of just doing that is not lawful, is what I'm trying to say. This is where we're at. That's why there's a problem.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I'm saying, just so you know.
Let me ask you this. Did you guys get an inheritance or anything from your father?
We all three got inheritance.
And how
together.
much did you get?
Myself,
Yes.
about $110,000.
You got 110?
Split evenly.
Between the three of you?
Yes. I was
You, your sister, and your brother?
Yes, I was the power of attorney.
So how much did you personally get out of,
I got no more than my brother and sister. Everything was split evenly.
and it was 110 split 3 ways?
About that.
Okay.
And it was his house that sold as well.
And then you got his house that sold.
I didn't get it. It was split evenly between the
Okay,
three.
so you had the house, you guys split the house in 3, and then 110,000? Is that,
Maybe I misunderstood. Would you get 100? Did you each get 110,000 apiece? Is that what you're saying? Am I clear on that, or?
About, I have.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just saying, I think we're misunderstanding that you didn't split 110,000. You each got 110,000. Is that what we're?
About that.
Roughly. I'm just saying, just so we're clear on what we're talking about. Okay. Now let me ask you, what's your brother's name again?
Charles Thompson.
Now, what does he know about what we just talked about here? Does he know any of this, or does he just think this just went the way you had portrayed it? Nobody in the family knows, your sister knows, but that's it.
Correct.
Okay.
and no one else knows?
No. Other than Anthony.
Okay.
And did your niece, what did you say to your niece in the morning when you guys discovered him, when you told him?
Thought he had died during his sleep.
Did he have any, did he urinate or anything like that during the
Yes.
process? Was that happening, when did that happen? Was it during,
I guess it was when he was dying. Urinated, which is normal.
is that when you guys were, when you had the rag over his mouth and your sister had her finger closing his nose?
Okay.
Linda and Mary Beth were financially stable, so money was unlikely to be the motive. However, the strongest suspicion remains that they simply grew tired of caring for their father. And now Linda is about to face the harsh truth. Her own lies have only made things worse for her.
Before we got into kind of what I'll call the truthful section of what happened here, you'd said that Anthony was not a trustworthy person. Now, when you say that, my feeling about that is that you were trying to deflect what he was going to tell us, but I will tell you that it was spot on. So I'm just trying to tell you, your opinion about Anthony may be different, but it's not about him being untruthful about this, because I'm just telling you what was said was almost verbatim. So,
Well, if he was wired, obviously.
okay, this is what I'm trying to say, but you try to portray him as being an untrustworthy person as it pertains to this, when in fact you know that's not the case, because obviously, we heard verbatim, and he's not untrustworthy when it comes to this, because that's...
Maybe to this, but other things.
He may be, I have no knowledge about that, but I'm talking about as it pertains to this. You were trying to lead us to believe that he was untrustworthy about this particular thing, and that's actually not the case. You understand that?
Yes, I understand
Okay.
it.
And I'm not condoning any other behavior which I have no knowledge of that he's involved or not involved in. I'm talking as it pertains to this is all I'm concerned about. You understand what my question is? You understand that? Okay.
So he came to you with this?
Do you have, let me ask you this, and I know this may be, are you, basically, when you came and told us this right now, I know you were driving, are you under any influence at all?
Illegal drugs?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
I never take illegal drugs.
Okay. All right. And
I take my heart medication, I take my thyroid medication, I take my mild tranquilizer
Mhm.
that is prescribed by an MD. I never have taken illegal drugs.
Okay. And also, let me ask you this. The night that this happened, were you of sound mind and you were not on illegal narcotics? No, I understand, but you were high and complete, another set of drugs. You said you don't do that. I'm just making sure that's what we're talking
I
about.
don't do
Okay.
Were you
Okay.
drunk?
No.
Okay.
So you guys made this decision to do this, to put, like, how you just told us here, put your father out of his misery. You guys decided to do that together.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Okay. Let me ask you something. you like to chat with your sister?
I don't mind chatting with
what to say. Can't say anything. He didn't say anything. He was trying to tell him. That's what he did. Because he told so much. I know. Because I thought I could trust him. There was a recording in here. I already told him who it was. He came to my house. And on Thursday, he told you he was going to do this. He told me he wanted to speak to me. Scared me in my driveway. In my car. In the garage. Because I had to talk to someone very I had no idea what could be so important. He insisted on letting him in the house. He told me what he told him. That he was trying to blackmail. What do you mean? Asked him or he would turn me in. And I said, if you turn me in, I don't care. I have nothing to say.
But the truth is far from what Linda believes. Mary Beth was already involved with Marsh. Her denial is just an attempt to salvage her sister's trust. In reality, both sisters were having an affair with him at the same time without each other's knowledge.
Well, I had a hard time. I was having dreams. You had one speaking to me. I was no one to talk to. You weren't speaking to me either. Now look at us. We're going to jail. My life is over. So is mine. I thought about taking the string and hanging myself in the other room. Taking these out of here and hanging in the room and killing myself. Just now. Take them off. Well, these springs come out of my boots. Well, you're gonna hang yourself. Oh, look at it tight, so tight that I couldn't breathe. Personal. We know we did it, and we did it for a reason. I told him why we did it. It doesn't matter what you tell that monster. I told the police when we did it. I told him why we did it. When I thought my father had dementia and he was getting worse every day. He was uncontrollable. And he had gotten a call with the lung cancer. It's true that none of it's a lie. I know we said our stories were sometimes. However, Anthony said it was my idea. You told him it was my idea.
I told him you would argue with Dad the night before.
We all had an argument with Dad. Dad called us back several times.
But it was a bad argument in the house.
A bad argument in the house? Over what? Because I really mean something?
No, because he didn't want her to look down.
Well, he wasn't that wrong with us. I was the one that it doesn't matter. That had nothing to do with you.
Why not? They got my medicine?
I don't know. My purse in my car, they requested me at work. I'm speaking to you. So what? At that time, we did what we felt. That wasn't going to make it. He may have actually got surgery. He was going to go through chemotherapy. That doesn't doesn't matter. He may have lived on for what, a year or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what his fate was. But his dementia and so forth was very, very bad. I knew even when he was we would put him in Lodell. He wasn't going to last in the regular room anyway. We've already discussed this. And at that moment, I couldn't help but watching Dad suffer that way. He wasn't living. He wasn't living a life. One minute he was in real life, the next minute he wasn't in real life.
It's freezing in here.
Yeah, it's freezing. I asked if I could have a jacket, and he said no.
To be honest with you, I don't remember some of the conversation. I can't remember. My memory is not what it used to be after the stroke. So I particularly don't remember the exact conversation.
That you had with him?
Yes.
So you told him that it was my idea. And you know it was not my idea. We spoke about it. We agreed upon it. To watch Dad.
No, Dad had that argument.
Look how many times Dad called us back to the house. Called it, said who was judge and jury to put him in the assisted living. He called us all. When did we all turn into attorneys? You don't remember that? And judges? I was halfway home to Dan's house that night. Chuck was there. He was closer to Sunshine Skyway. He couldn't turn around. But that